Hey guys, Rescue Rabbit 101 here, doing a real-life deck profile. This is the Chain Beat deck you guys have been seeing me play with on DN, and the deck I showed you briefly in my last DN duel commentary. But in this video, I'm going to explain my choices a little more thoroughly. So, first off, 3 Wind-Up Rabbit, staple. You kind of got to. 3 Thunderbird, again, staple. 3 Banisher. This is because if you summon this against dolls have a really hard time getting around this. Yeah, they can set Squamata or Dragon, but other than that, and Dragon bounces this, and since you're probably not going to have another monster, if they bounce this, A, their Dragon's going to die, and B, you can just summon it again, and you start to lock them back out. Well, you do lock them back out. And then, and then the Squamata, you should, and if they try to summon the Squamata, you should have a Garden or some form of defense up against an attack, or you shouldn't have summoned Banisher in the first place. And then as for BA, if you summon this against Burning Abyss, they can't make like any play. I mean, they can go Dante into Torguide into Dante, but they can't actually use Dante effect while this thing is on field. And if they go into anything else, you should be able to use your backer, like I said, to kill it. I mean, even if they go Alucard and pop one, they're not going to get any pluses. And if they Phoenix Wing Wind Blast this, you're just going to draw it on the next turn and summon it. So they stall you for 1 turn, and you should be able to defend yourself with traps. And Karma Cut, they're going, at that point, they're going neg. And you're fine with that, because going neg against this deck is actually pretty bad, because I can outlast you with traps and make you go neg and off. And then 1 T-King, because T-King is good against Cleethorts, and also pretty good against, yeah, it's pretty good against BA and Dolls. So that rounds up the monsters. I only play 10 monsters. You really don't want to get multiple monsters in this deck. I mean, it's fine if you get like Banisher, Thunderbird, but that's, or T-King and something else. But again, they're basically all standalones. Cards I'm not playing, that some people do. Bear, Mole, Cardcar, Warrior Lady, and Dinah. Bear, while he's good with the tanky engine, I only play 1 tanky anyways, so I'd rather just to add to the monsters, and I'm thinking about taking the tanky out anyway, because I'm playing 10 monsters, and I should always get 1. And Bear also conflicts with Banisher, so Mole is great, but Mole does not work with Garden, because if you summon Mole under Garden, they're going to get a token that's bigger than Mole, and if you swing into their monster and then bounce it, they still have that 800 token, and they're going to start beating you down with them. And at that point, you're not getting anywhere with the Mole. He's not worth it. Cardcar. Again, Garden. Yes, he's good on the turn 1. Past that, this card is a dead draw, and I'd rather play legitimate traps, which are good all throughout the game. DD Warrior Lady, again, I'd rather play a trap that can remove anything. I understand it's a viable card, but I'd rather play traps. And Fossil Dinah, Vanities is better. Fossil Dinah, if you draw it, and this is the same problem with Banisher and T-King, if you draw this card once you already have Garden up, it's basically dead. So it's really good while Garden's up, and also a lot of decks can get around Fossil Dinah a lot easier, I find, because if you summon Fossil Dinah, all Burning Abyss is going to do is go set Scarm, and they're just going to sit there, because Dinah can't beat other Scarm, and really not that much in this deck can, but that's beside the point. Spells, 3 Black Garden. Your monsters are all weak, especially with your lockdown monsters, Banisher and T-King. If you summon them and then place down the Garden, you are putting your opponent in a very tough position, because it's very hard to get either one of those monsters with a Garden on the field. And as for the second part, Garden is Garden can also revive Banisher. If there's 2 tokens on the field, you can blow up Garden in both tokens and revive Banisher, so that's pretty good. And Garden also does not affect, you'd think Garden, I mentioned this in one of my commentaries, but Thunderbird and Rabbit are not summons. So your opponent doesn't get tokens when they're brought back to the field. They are returns to the field. They are not summons. 3 Pot of Duality. Yes, it does conflict with T-King. No, I don't care. If I have T-King and not enough legitimate backer, I'm going to play this and then summon T-King. If I have the T-King and it's sitting on the field, it's should be well enough defended that I'm fine with dead drawing these, and I can bluff set pot. And I'm blind MST this deck almost nonstop. I'm almost putting in artifacts, but it conflicts with Banisher, and I don't want dead monsters anyways. One tanky grabs Rabbit. I'm seriously debating on taking this out because at 1 you don't even play Bear for it, so it's really not worth it. And with 10 monsters, that's 1 in every 4 cards, 1 in your opening hand. You're fine, and then 1 couple turns in. So in theory, 3 Space Typhoon. This deck gets destroyed by Royal Decree, Skill Drain, and these are just, you need outs to Decree and Skill Drain, because Cleethorts are running Skill Drain in 3s, and this destroys Skill Drain. And Decree isn't played as much, but if you run into it, this destroys Decree. You need these. Also, Scout. So, that's the other big card. 2 Lance, Banisher, and T-King protection. Also, if your stuff gets damage stepped, you can't chain their effects. So Lance is really good for that. Also, third thing, they will exhaust 2 cards to kill your monster. They will Depris Chain Thief Dish. They will do that. Lance protects your monster indefinitely. 2 Chalice, effect negation. It works in the damage step. That's the big thing. Plus, it's actually an attack bumper. So, and since you can use it in damage step, you shouldn't have to chain pass then. So you can use it on your own cards. Raigeki. This was a Dark Hole. Raigeki's back. This card, because while most people say, well, they're going to gain advantage, if I summon a Banisher on Raigeki your field, you're not getting anything out of it. And most cards will die to a Raigeki. There's very few that are immune to it. And even if I Raigeki a Cleethort board with a Banisher on field, it's getting banished. It's not going back to the extra deck. It's to be pendulum summoned again. So, yeah. That's the spells. There really aren't that many. I feel that other people play that I don't. Traps, Warning, Bottomless, TT. Warning, of course, and TT. If you have a T-King and a Banisher, you do not flip the TT unless it is the last play, unless it is necessary to protect your card, but then you're fine with it because you're going to lose the thing anyways. Bottomless is just more summon stopping. Again, a lot of people say Bottomless isn't this good. I say this can stop any Cleethort that's normal summon, and oftentimes they're just going to normal summon 1. They're going to go Scout Effect, Search, sack Cleethice, normal summon. You Bottomless it, bam. That's their turn 1 play down the drain. I'm playing 3D Prison right now because it banishes and it's an attack stopper. Macro, because banishing is good. 1 Dust Tornado. Skill Drain, and Skill Drain, and Scout. It's more popping power. Plus, the other biggest problem with this deck is you will set like 4 back row, and they will Delta Crow you, they will Black Rose you, they will do whatever it takes. So you can actually just set this and substitute to something else. And you can still blind MST with this deck. 1 compulsory evacuation device, of course. 3 compulsory escape device. For all those of you who don't know what this does, I will read it to you. Each player chooses 1 monster they control, then shuffles it into the deck. This does not target. Each player selects their own monster, so it's best to be used when your opponent has 1 card. You use it when you have either this guy or this guy on field. In case my camera isn't picking those up. Thunderbird or Rabbit. You activate it, chain their effects. You no longer have a monster. You have to have a monster when this activates. You do not have to have one when it resolves. This is a legal play. They will still shuffle 1 back. However, if you have a Wind-Up Rabbit and a Banisher, the way the card works, you do not select Wind-Up Rabbit and then chain Rabbit's effect. That's one of the best cards about this, is the picking is done in resolution. It's like Spellbook of Fate in that sense. So if I have Rabbit and Banisher, and I choose to banish the Rabbit in response, I have to shuffle in Banisher. Just a comment. Also, you can shuffle back in Black Garden tokens. I had people tell me you can't. You definitely can shuffle those back in. They'll just disappear though, which is good because they summon, you get rid of the token. Anyways, 3 Vanities because Vanities is Vanities, and you never special summon in this deck. I mean, unless you're going into the extra deck, and if you need to go into the extra deck, then you shouldn't. Then you're not going to have a Vanities on the field because you only go into the extra deck in dire situations. Yeah, that's basically it. I've been testing builds around with playing Black Horns of Heaven, but I don't really. I mean, the card's good, especially against the Cleethort matchup, but I'm going to have to wait and see just how popular Cleethort's BA and Shadal's is before I start main decking out. Extra deck, you don't need like any of this. Literally, what I would play if I had to, this you will almost never make because it's just not that practical, but I would still play it. That you will make a ton. You will make Arc way more than you think you will. I don't own an Acid Golem. This is my Acid Golem until I can get one. Musa Rhythm, play Acid Golem. You will make it. Zenmains. And then I guess if you have an Alucard, you can play an Alucard. But again, you don't really need it. This is just the stuff that you can play. My extra deck right now is just the stuff you can play, and it's what I've got mostly. So 2 Alucard, Musa Rhythm, Zenmains, and Leviathan Dragon. Muzu would turn into an Acid Golem if I had one. Otheon, number 80. Cowboy, Dweller, Excitation, Diamond Dyer, 101, Blackhorn, 50, Pappy, and Pearl. Cards, like I said, cards you'll legitimately make. If this was an Acid Golem, you would legitimately make it. You will legitimately make Zenmains, you might make Otheon, and you will make Arc. That's basically all you need to play, and then just fill in the rest of the extra deck. If you want to, you can play a Burning Abyss or Shadal extra deck card just to throw your opponent for a loop and then stick it face up if you've got a spare or something, because this deck has so much extra deck room. You can play whatever you want in here, really, no matter how creepy. I don't have a side deck yet built for this deck, but you can play Light Imprisons. That's a big thing. Light Imprisons does not conflict with Banisher, because Banisher does not activate. You can play Shadow Imprisons, because you can just side out the Thunderbirds. And yeah, you can. There's not a whole lot this deck can't play. It can't play Scalebrain, because this deck does get destroyed by. Yeah, this deck. I think it does. Anyways, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this deck can't play under Scalebrain. At least I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below. If these two can activate under Scalebrain. But yeah, so that's Chainbeat. Like, comment, subscribe. Leave a comment down below with any recommendations or deck profiles you want to see on the channel, duels you want to see. I'm open to pretty much anything. So yeah, Rescue Robot 101, signing.